Deep in the jungles of Cambodia stands one of the greatest works ever built by human hands. A temple so vast it is the largest religious monument on Earth. And around it once sprawled a city so large it may have been the biggest in the entire world, home to perhaps 1 million people. Then it fell and the jungle swallowed it. This is the story of Angkor, the lost megacity of the mighty Khmer Empire. Welcome to Curio Hour, where we uncover the strange, the unsolved, and the unforgettable. Today's story, Angkor. Our story takes us to Southeast Asia, to the jungles of what is now Cambodia, and to one of the most powerful empires the region has ever known. The Khmer Empire. For around 600 years, from roughly the 9th century onward, the Khmer Empire dominated much of mainland Southeast Asia, a great power of its age. Its capital and its heart was the city of Angkor. And Angkor was no ordinary city. It was a sprawling metropolis on a scale almost without equal in the medieval world. The Khmer kings saw themselves as god kings, divine rulers who connected their people to the heavens. And to express their power and devotion, they built on a colossal scale. Over the centuries, successive kings raised temple after temple across the region, each trying to outdo the last in size and splendor. The result was an enormous complex of monuments, palaces, and waterworks, spread across a vast area, all woven into the jungle and the rice plains. And the crowning achievement of it all, the most famous structure, was built in the early 12th century by a king named Suryavarman II. Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat is staggering. It was originally built as a Hindu temple dedicated to the god Vishnu, later becoming a Buddhist site, and it remains in use to this day. It is the largest religious monument ever constructed anywhere on Earth. Its scale is almost impossible to take in from the ground. The temple is surrounded by a massive moat, wide as a river, forming a giant rectangle around the complex. Crossing it, you approach along a great stone causeway. At its center rise 5 towers shaped like lotus buds, representing the sacred peaks of a holy mountain, the home of the gods in Hindu belief. The entire temple is a model of the cosmos in stone, carefully aligned, with its layout reflecting Hindu ideas of the universe and the heavens. Its walls are covered in vast galleries of carved relief, stretching for hundreds of meters, depicting gods, epic battles, mythological scenes, and the life of the kingdom. The craftsmanship is breathtaking. Thousands of carved figures, intricate decorations, and elegant architecture, all in sandstone hauled from distant quarries. Building Angkor Wat required millions of blocks of sandstone, floated and dragged from a quarry many miles away, and the labor of vast numbers of workers and elephants. And remarkably, it was completed in a few decades, a single king's monumental vision brought to life in stone within his own lifetime. But Angkor Wat, for all its fame, was just one temple in a vast urban landscape. Because the city of Angkor that surrounded it was enormous. For a long time, the true size of Angkor was underestimated because so much of it lay hidden beneath the jungle and the rice fields. But in recent years, using advanced technology, archaeologists have mapped what lies beneath the vegetation. And the results were astonishing. They used a technique called LiDAR, firing lasers from aircraft to map the ground beneath the trees. It revealed the ghostly outlines of a sprawling, hidden city. Beneath the jungle lay a vast network of roads, canals, reservoirs, neighborhoods, and houses, spreading out over an area larger than many modern cities. Angkor was not just the temple complex. It was a true low-density metropolis, with the temples at its core and a huge urban sprawl all around. Nothing else quite like it existed anywhere on Earth at the time. At its peak, Angkor may have been home to around 750,000 to 1 million people. By that measure, it was likely the largest city in the world at the time. Standing among the ruins today, it is hard to imagine the noise and bustle that once filled these avenues. While the cities of medieval Europe held tens of thousands at most, Angkor sprawled across hundreds of square miles, supporting an immense population in the jungle. Sustaining so many people in a tropical landscape was a feat of organization as much as of engineering. And the key to feeding and sustaining that enormous population was, once again, the mastery of water. The Khmer built one of the most sophisticated water management systems of the ancient world. A vast network of canals, channels, moats, and enormous reservoirs. Water was not merely a resource here. It was the very foundation on which the entire civilization rose and, in time, fell. These huge reservoirs, called bares, were artificial lakes of staggering size, capturing the heavy rains of the wet season to store water for the dry months. This system let the Khmer control the dramatic cycle of monsoon and drought, watering their rice fields and feeding their massive population year-round. It was an engineering marvel, the hidden foundation of Angkor's wealth and power. The whole civilization was, in a sense, built on the control of water. But this great strength would also become a great vulnerability. Because a civilization that depends so totally on water is at the mercy of the climate. For centuries, the system worked, and Angkor flourished as the jewel of Southeast Asia. But by the 14th and 15th centuries, the great city began to decline. The decline of Angkor was not a single event, but the result of many pressures piling up at once, much like other great lost civilizations. One major factor, scientists now believe, was climate. Studies of ancient tree rings reveal that the region was struck by extreme and erratic weather. There were decades of severe drought, which would have starved the reservoirs and the rice fields. And then devastating floods that may have damaged the water network. The vast, intricate water system that had been Angkor's greatest strength was difficult to maintain and vulnerable to these swings. As it faltered, so did the city. At the same time, there were other strains. Wars with neighboring kingdoms, shifts in trade, and a major change in religion as Buddhism rose and the old god-king system weakened. The center of power gradually shifted away from Angkor, toward locations closer to the sea and the growing trade routes, leaving the great inland city behind. Slowly over time, the population dwindled and dispersed. The great metropolis emptied out, its sprawling neighborhoods abandoned. Angkor Wat itself was never completely abandoned. It remained an important temple, tended by monks, even as the city around it faded. But the vast urban sprawl, the neighborhoods, the canals, and the smaller temples were left to the elements. And the jungle, ever patient, moved in. Over the centuries, the rainforest reclaimed much of Angkor. Trees grew up through the ruins, their massive roots wrapping around stone walls and temple towers. Some temples, like the famous Ta Prohm, became a haunting fusion of stone and tree, with giant roots cascading over and through the ancient architecture. These jungle-wrapped temples are among the most atmospheric ruins on Earth, a powerful image of nature, slowly reclaiming the works of a lost empire. And to the wider world, Angkor faded into legend. When European travelers later stumbled upon the ruins, some could scarcely believe such a place had been built in the jungle. But the Khmer people never truly forgot it, and Angkor Wat remained a sacred and revered site, a symbol of their heritage through the centuries. Today, Angkor is the pride of Cambodia, appearing on its national flag, and one of the most visited and studied archaeological sites in the world. Each year, vast numbers of travelers walk the same stone causeways as the god kings once did, and watch the sun rise behind those famous lotus towers. It stands as a monument to the genius of the Khmer Empire, a people who built a megacity and the greatest temple on earth deep in the jungle, and mastered the very rhythm of the rains. The largest city of its age, raised in the jungle, swallowed by the jungle, and found again. The lost megacity of the Khmer. Angkor,